Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video we will learn how to actually build out a Canva clone image watermark editor, something like this. I also deployed this tool website on my website freemediatools.com/mini text watermark editor. So it is deployed right here. Now let me show you a very short little demo of this tool. So here you can actually choose your image file, whatever image file you are editing. So all image extensions are supported: JPG, PNG, WebP, GIF, all files. So here the image file will be rendered in the canvas. Now we have options to actually add watermark logo on top of the image as an overlay. And we have all these options. We can control the color of the text, rotation, text size, transparency, opacity of the text. So let's suppose if I give any sort of logo, uh, I give free media tools channel name. Let me want to put this logo inside this image. The color of the text we can choose here. You can choose red color and click on this button, add watermark. So as you click the add watermark button, you will see the watermark will be added. The text will be added on top of the image. So now you can control these options. If you want to increase the size of the text, you can increase it like this. If you want to decrease it, so it is modifiable. And now you can even control the spacing between the text. If you want the spacing to be 60, you will now see it will look something like this. Transparency basically means the opacity, so you can control the opacity as well. So now it will be slightly lower. So now if you are ready to actually export your logo, you can simply click the bottom button right here, which is given generate image. As you click this button, your image will be exported, and now you can see whichever modifications you have made right here. You will see that text watermark has been successfully added to the image, and it has been showing right here in the result. So we will try to build this application from scratch, and we will not be using any third-party package. We will just be using the Canvas API, which is built in every browser. So we will try to build this application from scratch. So if you need the full source code, the link is given in the description of this video, and even you can also check out the live demo link where I deployed this website. So you can go to my e-commerce website and purchase the full source code if you need this. So you will have this index HTML, only a single file, and this is the overall code. We will write it from scratch. So now let's get started by building this application. So what I will do, I will make a new file. I will just make it Canva clone, Canva HTML. So just write a basic HTML template, and here you need to change the title, image, watermark, editor, and here you need to include the CDN of Bootstrap. We will also be using Bootstrap for the UI, user interface. So just after the title, paste the CDN of Bootstrap. That's all. And now we will be writing the interface of the application. So just right inside the body, we will be giving a bootstrap class right here. So div, which will be having a class of container, which is a bootstrap class. And again, we'll be having row, margin top 5. So these are all bootstrap classes. Call 12. So inside this, we will have a simple input field where we will allowing the user to actually select the input image file. So you'll be giving an ID to it, input file. So that's all. So if you just open this now with the live server, you can open it locally. You will see now there is a choose file button here. You can click and select the image file that you want to put the watermark. After this, we will again be having, just after this, again a div, which will again have a class of call 12, call medium 4, margin from the y direction 2. Inside this, you will have the input group class, height will be 100, and here we will be having a span tag. So here we'll be having certain options to control the watermark. So input group text. So you'll be giving an ID to it of pan color. This simply will be responsible for choosing the color of the text. So text color. So after this, you will be having a input type of color. So here the user can choose the color using the color picker. So form control will be giving a bootstrap class, and height will be of 100. We'll be giving an ID to it of color picker. So here the user can simply select which text color that they want, and the default value will be selected automatically whenever you load, which will be white color. So hexadecimal value of white is FFFF6F. So if you refresh now, there will be this colored input text which will be added. So here you can choose your color using the color picker. So after this, we will be having a, so this is done. We have this. So this is the input group class which is ended. Now after this, we will have another, the same one. So I will just copy this and paste it one more time. So this time, instead of text color, here we will be controlling the size of the text. So you replace it text size, and after this, here we need to give the ID here of font size. So the value here will be, default value will be 30, minimum value will be 0. So input type will be, this time it will be number. So now there will be this text field added. Here you can only enter the numeric value, so you can control the size of the text. Next we have the input field for controlling the spacing of the text. So here you just need to copy one more time. So this is actually the HTML which is required. So what I will do, you will find all this in the source code which is given in the description. So I will not waste time in writing this HTML. Instead, I will explain you the JavaScript code which will be the business knowledge logic of the application. So here, if you refresh now, this is actually the interface. We have the choose file button, then we have various fields for controlling the color of the text, size, spacing, transparency, opacity, oblique, and this is a watermark text that you will add it. So now this is actually the canvas. So canvas actually is where the image will be residing. So we also have a button right here, add watermark. So this button will allow us to actually add the watermark when we click this button. So this button, which it will not be shown by default, this will be hidden. So now we need to write some custom styles to actually just after the head tag. So here we will make this canvas size a little bit bigger. So I will just paste these styles right here. So what it is doing, it is actually making this canvas size to be 100%, max width to be 800 pixel. So just write these custom styles and refresh it, and now you will see the interface will actually center itself. So if you now resize your window, it will be responsive. So the interface is now ready. Now we need to write the logic behind this application. So right after the body, you need to make a script file and just make a script.js file. So right in the same directory, just make the file script.js. So now first of all, here in this file, we need to declare some variables. So image data will be one variable. So just declare it and just assign this nothing value. Here we'll be storing the base64 code of the image when we want to export the image. So here we'll be getting the references by using document.getElement by ID. So we have given the ID to the input file, so which is input file. Will be binding a event listener to it. So whenever the file is selected by the user, this event will automatically trigger, and this callback function will trigger, which will have the event parameter. So here first of all we need to get access to the file. So you simply say event.target.files 0. You will get access to the file which is selected by the user by e.target.files 0. And now we need to actually read the input image file which is selected by the user. So for doing this, we will actually use the file reader API, which is built in inside the browser. So for reading this, we will be instantiating a new instance of file reader class, and then we will simply use the onload function. So inside this function, what we need to do, we need to actually instantiate a new instance of image constructor, and then we need to get the base64 code of the image, which is there inside e.target.result. So after this, we just need to say when the image is successfully loaded, this function will execute. This callback function will execute whenever the image is successfully loaded in the canvas. So right here, we need to actually draw the image on the canvas. So for drawing anything on the canvas, first of all, we need to get access to the canvas element. So if you see, we have given the canvas element. If you see, we have given this ID, which is art. So we are just targeting this canvas by this ID, and then we will need to get the context to actually draw something on the canvas. So we need to say get context, which is a method to actually get the 2D context. So after we got the 2D context, now we can draw something on the canvas. So for doing this, we need to calculate the width and the height of the canvas. For getting the width and the height, we need to get the width and the height of the image. So we can simply say image.width to actually get the image width. Similarly, for getting the height of the image, we can say image.height. And then we need to say context.clear. So now to draw a rectangle, this is actually the method which is there inside Canvas API. So it will draw the rectangle as an image. X coordinate will be 0, Y coordinate will be 0, and the height and the width of the canvas will be equal to canvas.width.canvas.height. So after that, inside that canvas, we will be drawing the image by using the draw image function, and the first argument will be the actual image, and then the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. So after this, if you just refresh now, what will happen right here? If I choose an image file right here, you will now see as I choose the image file, nothing happens. Let me see what is the error. This function hasn't been called, I think. Okay, oh, sorry, we have made a mistake right here. This needs to be on load. And also, if I make this change, you will also see this code will not work. There is a reason for this. You will see the code still doesn't work because we need to call this function, which is this onload function. We haven't called this. So now for calling this function, there is this reader dot read as data URL. So this is actual function we need to call, and here we need to actually pass the input file, input image file. So now basically the flow will remain like this. This line will execute first, and then the process will come to this line, and this read as data URL will call this function, which is onload function. So the process will do like this. So now if you select the file right here, you will now see the image will be drawn in the canvas. You will see that if I change this image to any other image, the image will change in the canvas. So in this way, the code is working. So you can see now the image is successfully drawn in the canvas. Now we just need to add the watermark which is there. So now after we do this, we need to get access to the watermark input element that we given. If you see, we have given this ID to it of watermark text. So whatever watermark that you written right here, we need to target this first of all inside JavaScript. So similarly, we need to bind a on-click listener to it. So whenever it changes, so document.getElement by ID, which is watermark text. So we just need to give we need to bind a event listener to it, add event listener. We can even do a on-click listener to the button as well. So if you see, we have this add watermark button. So we have given this button an ID of upload text. So instead of we can simply say upload text, we can bind a on-click listener to the button instead. So both the methods will work, but this method will be slightly easy. So we'll be binding an on-click listener. So when we click this button of add watermark, so what we need to do, we need to add the watermark. So now for adding it, first of all, we need to get access to the canvas where the image is located. We go document.getElement by ID, we get reference to it. So after that, we need to get context as well once again. We simply need to say get context once again. 2D context, we will get it. And now we also need to get the text which the user has written. So we can say document.getElement by ID. So whatever is the watermark text, we will actually get the value of it by using dot value. So it will actually get the watermark which is written by the user. Similarly, we need to get the color as well. So for the color, once again, this will be color picker. So this will actually get the color, and in the same way, we will get all the values which is there in the HTML, which is the font size, spacing between the text, the opacity, rotation, angle. So each and everything, we have given all these IDs in the HTML. You can cross check. We have given all these IDs. If you see, this is rotation, this is opacity, this is spacing, font size. So we have given all this, we are getting all these values. So after doing this, now comes the main part. We need to actually add the watermark. Before adding it, we will be simply be checking if the watermark text is empty by using this function. So this simply means that if the text is not empty, in that case only we need to execute this code. So now this if condition evaluates to true, then only we will be adding the watermark. So for adding the watermark, first of all, we need to clear out the previous content. So for deleting the previous content, we need to actually call this function, which is clear rectangle. This is clearly the opposite function. Clear rectangle will actually erase the rectangle which is drawn previously from the canvas. So again, we need to pass the canvas width and the canvas height in the third and the fourth parameter. And then we need to call this function, which is put image data. So here we will be putting the actual image data that we got inside the variable, which is image data, and then the x coordinate and the y coordinate, which will be 0, 0. So this image data variable we have declared at the, you can see globally. So this image data, you can see that we are using it right here, image data. So after this, we also need to attach all these properties, which is actually the font size. So bold. So here we will be getting the font size which is selected by the user. So font size is in pixel. So font size pixel Arial. And similarly, fill style remains the color of the text. We will be getting dynamically, so we will be assigning it to the variable. And then we have another property which is global alpha. So this represents the opacity, global. So opacity we also are getting dynamically. We will be just be multiplying opacity by 0.01. You can just modify accordingly this code. And then we will be getting the canvas width. So canvas width multiplied by 2. Similarly, you'll be getting the canvas height again multiplied by 2. And then we'll need to calculate the center coordinate, center x. This is slightly some mathematics which is involved right here. So you just need to copy this code. So this is actually the center x coordinate and the center y coordinate. We are multiplied by the spacing that you select, how much space is between the characters in the watermark. So this is this is that thing. And then we just need to run a simple for loop right here to actually add the watermark. So this is actual code. So let me just copy paste and then explain to you. So here this is actually the whole source code will be there in the description. You can purchase it. So right here, if I show you, this is actually the for loop that we are running. We are running until the canvas height, font size plus spacing. This is slightly complicated, but you can understand very easily. If you pause the video, if you try to run it multiple number of times, then you will know how the code is executing. So if I show you now, if I choose the file right here, I think we are missing something right here. I think there is just typo mistake right here in the on change function right here. If I now refresh and try to choose a file, so now you can see as I click add watermark, the watermark is successfully added. And this repeating stuff right here, this watermark is, you can see it is repeated. Uh, it is repeated right here, right here, right here. This repetition, it is coming because of this for loop that we have written. So this is the logic that we applied right here. This is a for loop. So this repeating is coming because of this for loop. But if you don't apply this for loop, then the watermark will only be there on a singular time. So if you want to repeat the watermark at specific locations, then you can use the for loop. But if you only want the watermark to appear at a single location, then you can delete that for loop and the watermark will only be appearing for a single time. But this looks cool because you can see the watermark appearing multiple locations. So now the only thing is remaining. If I click the generate image button, I need to download my output stuff as an image file. So this is slightly simpler. So here again we need to bind a on-click listener to the export button. So we have given save canvas, add event listener. So when we click the download button, we need to export the canvas. So we'll be getting a reference of the canvas. After getting the reference, we just need to we need to call this function toData URL. So this function will actually convert your canvas and give you a base 64 code which you can download as an image file. So for downloading it as an image file, we need to create a new element, anchor element, by using this create element function. You can see we haven't used any third-party package. We just written the vanilla JavaScript code right here to actually code this application. And then we just need to give the name of the file, which will, let me give example.png. And then we need to dynamically click this, so a.click. So if you now refresh your application, if you select your image file, then if you add the watermark, you can change the color of the watermark. Let's suppose you can see that watermark change to red color. You can increase the size of the watermark as well. Right here you can see that size is increased. You can control the sizing right here. Then you can even control the spacing between the characters in the watermark as well. So, and then you can even control the opacity as well. So once you're done, you can click the generate image button. So as I click it, you will see that image is successfully downloaded as an attachment. So now you can see the image is saved with the modified changes that you have done. The watermark or logo is appearing right here on top of the image as an overlay. So this is the overall application, guys. The link is given in description. You can directly purchase the full source code if you face any sort of issues. Before purchasing it, at the checkout page I have given the link of my tool. You can try out this tool before purchasing it. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will be seeing you in the next one.